Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your money life coach with me, Barbara Mandel, here on eRadio, your weekly Wednesday inspiration to act and manage your money better. Today, I want to start off with saying decision making is our single worst enemy when it comes to our money. We often do not realize the impact of impulse decision making on our future financial situation. We often do not think about where we want to go, because money is just something we'll never have enough of. The reality of the matter is that it's not the amount of money you have that will dictate your relationship with money. It is often our behavior that dictates our relationship with our money. You can have less money or more money than the person next to you and still feel as if you do not have enough, or that your life is miserable because you don't have any money. The fact of the matter is, money regulates most people's lives and the way they live them. The difference with people who seem successful is not the amount of money they have, but the way in which they manage it. Because money is such a sensitive topic for most of us, the decisions we make are often impulse decisions. In today's life, where we are surrounded by needs and wants and consumerism, the financial decisions we make are often to our own future detriment. We tend to make decisions on impulse without due consideration of what it requires. We sometimes must sit back and look at our behavior to understand our current financial situation. Over the festive season, consumerism is at its worst. Even just going to the supermarket could make you spend money that you should not have or did not plan for. During the festive season, how do we help ourselves not to spend money we should not? In other words, making an impulse decision. Let us first understand why you should avoid making impulse decisions. Impulse decisions have the ability to, especially when they are not clearly defined, derail our financial goals. By spending money you did not plan for, you are inevitably taking from something else that could be more important to you. But because you are faced with a decision right now that you do not want to make because you are driven by consumerism and have an urge to buy, you are making an impulse decision. An impulse decision does not only mean you make a decision there and then, but it also means you have taken a decision without taking everything else into account. Impulse decisions often also lead to taking out credit without realizing the implications thereof over the long term. And the funny thing is, most of the time, that very reason you are making that impulse decision, or where you're getting the item at such a bargain, means that you are paying more than half of what that item costs in interest and charges. How do you avoid making impulse decisions? Firstly, you must be in control of your finances. During these podcasts, I will aim to help you get to that point. Secondly, you must have clearly defined, understood, planned for short, medium, and long-term goals. And lastly, you need to understand the impact of the decision on your goals. However, most people are nowhere near being in control of their finances. So I'm going to give you 3 tips to avoid making impulse decisions this festive season, especially on the big ticket items that you might be spending on. Number 1, if you are in the store and faced with a decision, ask the salesman to give you information about the deal in writing, or make notes of the information provided to you. Number 2, go home and Google. Google the reviews of the product and see if it will satisfy your want, and if there's anywhere else you can purchase it, maybe at an even discounted price. If your values dictate and you feel strongly about buying from the salesperson in store, consider giving them a call and find out what deal they can make for you. You might be pleasantly surprised. It is not always just about the money, it's about the experience and your personal values too. Thirdly, answer the following questions, but you need to write them down. Question number 1. What would it mean for me to have this item? Question number 2. How will it make my life easier? Here you should refer to your values and what's important to you. For example, if spending time with your family is important to you, you should consider if this will allow you to spend more time with your family. Third question, what am I willing to sacrifice to get this item? This is a slightly trickier question to answer if you do not have a set of clearly defined goals. In this instance, think short term. Example, am I willing to sacrifice a few dinner dates with my spouse, a few beers or bottles of wine? Anything that you have a habit of doing that costs you money on a regular basis. And the last question, if you are buying this item on credit, how much will it be costing you over the long term? Lastly, if you have made an impulse decision and now you are facing the consequences, sit down and debrief. Write down what it felt like when you bought the item, what you felt like using it for the first time, and what you are feeling now. Ask yourself, what could I have done differently in making my decision to buy it? Could I have waited? Could I have asked more questions? Could I have found out more about the item? Or could I have given things that are more important to me a bit more thought? That's me for today. Be sure to tune in next week Wednesday at 3:20 here on eRadio, where I'll be discussing festive season on a budget. Feel free to follow me on Facebook, Your Money Life Coach, for more tips on how to manage your money better. Or you can visit our website at www.yourmoneylifecoach.co.za. Thank you for listening.